In response to questions about a possible change to WWE Raw, Triple H made his move. Currently, the tour is on its way to Rogers Arena in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, the site of WWE Survivor Series 2024, which takes place next weekend. In January of 2025, WWE Raw will move from the USA Network to Netflix. Recently, Netflix aired a boxing battle between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, but the service buffered often over the night. While appearing on Greg and the Morning Buzz, Triple H discussed possible buffering problems with Netflix's Raw. Even if the broadcast buffers due to an overwhelming amount of viewers, the King of Kings said he would still be okay with it. In a 10-year agreement, the promotion and Netflix have committed to bringing Raw on Netflix in 2025. The Blue brand's run on Fox Network came to a year earlier this year, and now every Friday night you can see SmackDown on USA Network. A month ago, the Sky Genius became the top challenger for Liv Morgan's Women's World Championship after winning a battle royal. On the Legion of Raw program hosted by Sportskeeda Wrestling, Russo made the sardonic comment that fans should put their money into Iyo Sky as the corporation appreciated her work. The seasoned wrestler went on to say that Triple H and Shawn Michaels were also targets. Live from California's Intuit Dome, the first episode of Raw will premiere on Netflix on January 6, 2025. Next year's highly anticipated concert will be fascinating to watch for any surprises that the game may have in store for viewers. Paul Triple H Levesque's office was anything from peaceful as the clock at WWE's Stamford headquarters drew toward midnight. His desk was a jumble of papers, his phone was constantly ringing, and a big screen showed preliminary preparations for Monday Night Raw. Rumors of a possible Raw network swap have been swirling for weeks, causing chaos in the wrestling business. It wasn't a minor adjustment to the code. This was a major change that may cause WWE to undergo a fundamental shakeup. Although the network talks were profitable, they were not without their difficulties. Most notably, there was the chance that Raw may switch nights or possibly switch platforms. This was undiscovered ground for a brand that had ruled Monday evenings for more than 30 years. As he rubbed his temples, Triple H reclined in his chair. The thought of the spectators' reactions flashed through his head. Would they relocate with Raw? How about the skill set? Even the most devoted fans may get turned off if WWE decided to stop airing on Monday evenings. As was his tendency at times like these, he nervously clicked his pen on the surface. Corporate heavyweights within WWE, such as Nick Khan and representatives from the potential networks, were heavily engaged in the decision-making process, so he didn't have complete say. The creative and organizational success of WWE's flagship program rested squarely on Triple H's shoulders as Chief Content Officer. "Paul, you've certainly encountered more formidable obstacles," he said to himself. But he could see this was unique. It was more than a program. Raw was a staple in American culture. They risked ruining decades of heritage if they messed up this changeover. As he was lost in meditation, he heard a pounding at the door. His longtime buddy and current boss of NXT, Shawn Michaels, strolled in. Shawn knew more than anybody else how much Triple H was struggling. "You appear as though you've been through a last man standing match," Shawn teased, settling onto a seat opposite from him. Triple H grinned. "And it's kind to me too. How's it going? This is just a quick check-in. Everyone seems to be focusing on the Raw switch. Skill is anxious. Many are wondering. The situation is becoming more chaotic." With a nod, Triple H acknowledged, "I've been receiving consistent criticism. Rumors are already going viral on social media. Many of them aren't thrilled, yet others are." Shawn drew nearer. "I understand that this is a difficult decision to make. However, you should bypass this. Both the performers and the viewers could use more clarification and comfort. Things will only become worse if they think we're not telling them anything." Three-Horse H let out a deep breath. Sean had a point. Clarity was paramount, but how much information could he provide without jeopardizing the secrets of the current negotiations? A meeting with RAW's roster was convened behind closed doors by Triple H later that week. Tension permeated the room. A mixture of interest and worry showed on the faces of the superstars as they spoke to one another. At the front of the pack, Triple H stood tall and proud. He started by saying, "All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room," maintaining a calm voice despite the anxiety. The speculations about Raw possibly switching networks or nights have been floating about for a while, although nothing is set in stone just yet. I am come to inform you that change is imminent. The room was filled with whispers. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch were among the wrestlers who exchanged anxious looks. Some, like Rhea Ripley and Cody Rhodes, kept their faces frozen in place, making their emotions impossible to interpret. "I understand that this prompts inquiries," Triple H continued. "I can assure you that Raw will always be the same in essence, regardless of external circumstances. As far as WWE is concerned, it will always be defined by this spectacle. But I want you to believe that we're making this change for the sake of the business and each of you in the long run." The hand of Seth Rollins was lifted. "What about the admirers, Hunter? On Monday evenings, they are accustomed. How can we maintain our forward momentum if we do decide to intervene?" "That's an appropriate inquiry," Triple H said. "It will really be difficult. However, wrestling fans are tough. From our switch from UC to Spike and back again to the launch of the WWE Network, they have been there every step of the way. If this change occurs, we will ensure it goes smoothly." Rhea Ripley interjected. "What about our timetables though? Anything might go awry if the night shifts." To be honest, Triple H did say that they will be making some changes. To make things easier, however, we'll coordinate our efforts. Trust me when I say this. For an instant, everyone in the room listened intently as his words hit home. Although they had their doubts, many superstars looked up to Triple H as a leader and trusted him to get them through this tough time. Talking to the WWE fanbase came next. Triple H was aware of how critical it was to develop an appropriate statement. The fans weren't only bystanders, they were fundamental to the success of the business. The repercussions may be disastrous if they didn't support this change. As part of a special Raw segment, Triple H made an appearance in the ring while holding a microphone. It was clear that the audience had trust in him as they burst into shouts. His pacing around the ring signaled his intention to speak about the future. Monday Night Raw has been the lifeblood of WWE for more than 30 years. It's the birthplace of rivalries, the site of legendary characters, and the pages of history. Enthusiasts from the audience flooded the stadium with their roars. However, Raw will need to change and adapt to keep up with WWE. I must tell you the truth. Things are about to change. We're looking at fresh possibilities that may lead to Raw airing on a different night or a different network. This may seem like a lot, but I assure you Raw will never stop being your favorite program. Triple H continued despite the conflicting comments from the crowd. "We value innovation as much as tradition. We will continue to support you in the same way that you have supported us through all of this. You are just as much a part of this program as we are. We will elevate Raw to unprecedented levels if we are together." A cries out from the audience read, "Thank you, Hunter." Even while it wasn't a resounding yes, he could rest certain that WWE fans were on board with the procedure. Triple H ramped up their preparations behind the scenes. In order to embrace the possible changes while maintaining RAW's identity, he met with executives, writers, and producers to develop ideas. Regardless of the time slot, new narratives were offered to attract viewers. In order to make sure that fans could watch Raw whenever they wanted, they looked into forming partnerships with digital outlets. Additionally, Vince put a lot of faith in WWE's social media staff, telling them to run ads that paid homage to ROW's past while hinting at its promising future. As a result, people all around the globe started talking about the #RawImagined hashtag.